Gotcha. All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another edition of our real estate backstory. We do this every Monday morning, right around 9 o'clock. Kind of gives you kind of the comings and goings of the real estate world, what's happening here in the Atlanta area, that kind of thing. My name is Richardson. I'm the managing broker here at Maxwell Realtor Partners.
That was quick.
I know.
My name is Richardson. I'm the compliance broker for Maximum One and Maximum One Realty Partners.
So every week we kind of start off with kind of what's happening and that kind of thing. And so I saw a really interesting thing that kind of came up, and we're just going to kind of run through some things.
We know right now it's a great migration. So what job?
Well, yeah, the real estate agent is the number one searched employment term on Google right now. So, well, I'm not poo-pooing it or saying it's great. Real estate agent is number one, flight attendants number two, notaries number three, therapist, pilot, firefighter, that kind of thing. So, but real estate's number one, and I just want to we got to make sure that we're keeping it real too, because there's a lot of folks that think, gosh, all we do is look at pretty houses and cash checks all day. And the thing is that that's really not what our world really is about. You are a small business owner. You own your own small business, and what you achieve out of that is going to be what you put into it. So I don't mind anyone jumping into our industry. I think it's great that we have folks that are looking at real estate. But I also think that it's really important that
have a good expectation.
I don't know anybody that rocks it in real estate that doesn't work their tail off. And that's really the bottom line. If you're looking for real estate is one of those things that
a side hustle.
Yeah. Well, or an easy way to make money, that kind of thing. It's not. I'm just being straight up. Now, can you be amazingly successful in real estate?
Absolutely.
You sure can, but you're going to have to work your butt off. And that's really what it comes down to. This is not a, just come in and start cashing checks, hang out at the golf course, that kind of thing, look at pretty houses. That's not reality. So, for anybody that's kind of looking to join, or if you're new thinking, oh, this is how it is. No, listen up, buttercup. It's a real job. And you got a lot of work that needs to be done with that also. So, moving on here, we're moving into tax time. And so there are some things coming up that I really want us to be able to share with our clients about the advantages of selling a home, and like the tax advantages. When you do sell a home, there's a lot of things you can write off from the sale of that home that actually makes it even more desirable. So first one is that, did you know that you can write off selling costs, okay, including all your escrow fees, title fees, advertising costs, agent commissions, all those
improvement as well.
Yes.
But you got to have a good record and receipts for that.
Well, now the improvement and repairs, you can write those off, but here's your catch. Okay. It has to be within 90 days of the closing. So if you made improvements to the home in order to sell it, you can write those off as well, but it has to be within 3 months of your sale date. So if you are, the other thing is it has to be on your personal residence. So investors, sorry, it doesn't work that way. But for your personal residence, if you do fix it up, turn around and sell it, you can write those costs off. Third one is going to be, you can write off property taxes. That's another one. I mean, you know more about taxes than I do, obviously.
Well, whatever you pay throughout the year on taxes is what you can write off.
Yeah, up to 10,000, right? Yeah. And then the fourth one,
mortgage interest.
Yes.
So when you pay interest, you can write that off. You typically get a copy of year-end interest that's been earned by the lender, and those are applicable toward your taxes.
Yeah. The only thing is you have to itemize for that kind of stuff. And then the last one is that, your sellers can take advantage of capital gains taxes so long as they've lived in the home
the last 2 years.
Yep. And then they can write off up to $250,000 of
per
capital
person, or $500,000 per couple.
Oh, that's right. So yeah. While I know that selling, right now selling is And we need more sellings.
We need more
My goodness,
listing.
my
It's
words are
okay. It's
not
Monday
coming out yet. The
morning.
lips aren't working and that kind of stuff.
The
So
brain's working, but the
yeah,
lips
I'm
ain't moving
trying
the
to get
same
there.
directions. So there
So
we go.
we need more listings, but we also need to be able to speak intelligently about what are the advantages, what are the pros and the cons of selling your home. And so this is just one of those things we want to make sure that everyone's kind of aware of and that kind of thing. So one of the large photo companies and home inspection company, Home Jab out there, they released a study that said that the best day for listing for actually holding the photo shoots is on Wednesday. And really that kind of got us to kind of talking and thinking a little bit about it. And not that we think that the day that the property that is photographed is really that important. It just kind of started our discussion about when's the best time that you actually list properties. So, you know, we don't have a problem with a photographer going out like the week before, the
Right.
Wednesday before, but we normally list properties on like Thursday. Wednesday night or Thursday is our best time when we recommend properties to be leased. I mean, list again, the lips aren't working. Listed. And when you list on Thursday, a lot of times we won't even allow showings to happen on Friday. And then we
Right.
allow showings to happen Saturday, Sunday, Monday, that kind of thing. Moving on. It creates a little bit of energy and excitement, that kind of
Not
thing.
only that, honestly, you know, when a house goes on the market, it gives a lot of traction and you'll have a lot of folks. Some are lucky loose, but a lot of those are serious buyers. So what you want to do is encourage everybody kind of move in at the same time and reviewing it. So you kind of minimize the disruption for the seller. Not only that, some people are still very skeptical about COVID. So therefore, you know, they want as less of impact
Yeah.
of their home.
But you know, we always use that as another opportunity to kind of bond with our sellers, also show the expertise and why they're using us and that kind of stuff. So having a great photographer partner
Absolutely.
is really important. So again, I don't find it as nearly as important on what day they take the pictures, but that is how we kind of live.
We normally like to have the photos ready by Wednesday.
Yep. All right. So I want to share with you. So there's a New Jersey came out and said that they're going to be using $10 million in federal money to stop investors from buying single family houses in the state. And this sounds really cool. Like wouldn't we love to be, you know, Georgia's one of the biggest investor states out there. And I'll show you some more data on that in a minute. And so this sounds really good, but basically this is one of those where great intentions. I like where they're going with this. Reality, not so much, right? Because what they're going to do is they're going to be using the money to buy non-performing notes from
Federal
FHA,
yeah,
which is HUD
HUD
homes.
homes.
So, you know, I'm like, well, gosh, I could see that program. I don't really knock that program.
But
However,
I kind of wonder if they are buying it, is the state of New Jersey now in real estate business? And are they going to sell it?
Well,
and are they doing an NSP program?
well, that's the whole thing, is they're going to be doing different NSP programs and that kind of stuff. Now, the challenge for us right here in the state of Georgia is, gosh, I went and pulled HUD Home Store.
Again.
And so these are the
Only
all the homes for sale on HUD Home Store for the state of Georgia. 4. Okay.
So we got one in Valdosta, one in Stockbridge, one in Harlan.
Harlem. I don't even know where Harlem is. I'm sorry.
It's Columbia County. I think that's
still don't know where that is.
South of
but
us.
Anyway, there's 4 HUD homes. So even if we did start programs like that, like there's just no inventory of it. So while I understand where New Jersey's intentions are, the bottom line is that, you know, there's just not a lot of money out there to be had. I mean, not a lot of money. There are a lot of properties. Yeah, no matter what. So, you know, a lot of times we also have clients who are like, hey, I'm interested in HUD homes. I'm looking for bank-owned properties. You know, I mean, you know, these houses are going to have so many offers on them. It's not even funny, because that's all the homes there are for the state of Georgia right now. All right, so Zillow has, you know, so Mike Delpreet, he puts out a lot of information. He does some really great analysis, and he's talking and he shares some information about Zillow 3.0 and how Zillow is going back to the basics. And so Zillow's new strategy is now Zillow's old strategy. And so it's going back to its original roots on agent lead gen and extracting more revenue from agent commissions. So, you know, And I just kind of wanted to show this here because this is what Zillow's goals are here on really how they're planning on making up for all the money they lost on their iBuyer programs, and they lost a lot of money on their iBuyer programs. And so they're going in and really, I mean, for real, doubling down on agent revenue. And how
So what does that mean for you guys? For those of you that don't have any internet marketing or a referral basis, you're going to be competing with major player like Zillow, that who's going to spend tons of money in advertising and turn around, sell that lead back to you.
Well, and really that's what we're trying to, advocate is while I understand that, 60% of something may be better than 100% of nothing. And so seeing new agents and folks that use Zillow to kind of and Zillow leads to kind of get going, that makes a lot of sense. Where we don't want to see it go is when agents only get their business from these portals such as Zillow. Like if Zillow is feeding you your business and all your leads are coming from Zillow and all your business is coming from Zillow, well, guess what? All your business has to come from Zillow at that point.
Right.
And now you're going to be forced to be giving 40 up to 50% because now there's talk. I mean, part of Zillow's agent revenue growth is that they're going to be wanting to take bigger pieces of that revenue pie. And how that's going to happen is they're going to be cutting splits even more because
right
they
now,
have
I
to
believe their splits 30%. So,
well, no, it's 60. And I mean, it's 60,
well,
40.
Take that back, 30% of gross commission. So if you are in a team situation or in a brokerage where they take additional percentage, so your end result may be 50 or 40% of the gross revenue. So just be aware what you're signing up for.
And again, I'm not trying to poo-poo whether it's Zillow, Op City, Veterans United. A lot of agents need those programs, and I promise we're not knocking them, but at the same time, please build your own businesses. It's so important that you have your own database, that you have your own clients that you're engaging with. And then, take advantage of those when they come along. But if that's your only lead source, then that's your only lead source. And if something ever happens to Zillow, or if something dries up or they change, and goodness knows they change a lot, what does that mean for your business moving forward? So protect yourselves, but also diversify yourselves. It's really important that we do that.
And once again, always build your own data. Work on your referral because that's going to feed you in the long run.
Yeah, referrals where it really comes down to. All right, mortgage rates. Dun dun dun.
3.92.
So we're pushing 4%.
There's actually already lenders out there doing 4.25 at this time, and if not higher. And so it's getting a little pushing up there to where almost not quite pre-pandemic.
Well, and realistically, these rates are historically they're still amazingly low. There's no doubt.
It's great.
But for months and months and months, we kept saying interest rates are going to rise. Interest rates are going to rise. And now they're rising. Now, I do feel that we're, right now, this is a little bit of a knee-jerk reaction in preparation of what's going to happen when the Fed meets next month. The Fed's going to meet in March. And I think everybody knows that not only are they stopping all bond purchases, but they're going to be raising the federal funding rate. As that happens, what we're seeing is that mortgage companies and the interest rates are kind of preparing for that. So I'm not expecting another big jump on top of this because we've already seen. You just look at what's happened in January and February on rates. We've moved drastically already.
Almost 1 point.
Yeah.
Almost, not quite.
So, the Fed is going to be raising policy. Now, the good news is raising rates, but as with all this other stuff going on, purchase apps were only down 1%. So we're seeing the highest interest rates we've seen for 3 years now, 2 years anyway. And at the same time, purchase applications are only down 1%. So it's not deterring buyers. But one thing that we have to make sure that we are preparing them for is not to make them house poor. Like we've got to be talking about it. Right now, our average mortgage payment has jumped up 22.5%. Now, average income has the median income last year rose by 4.5%. So people were making more money. However, mortgage payments, the average mortgage payment is now up 22.5%. That means that our folks who have been out looking at homes, they're probably not able to afford those same homes right now. And so maybe they need to go back and start looking at lower priced homes. We need to be very careful, because if you've been out looking at $350,000 houses and now you can afford a $300,000 house, that is a real big difference in expectations. So we want to be getting folks locked in. We want to be making sure that we're communicating with our buyers on here. Mortgage payments are going to be, this is going to be our challenge throughout the rest of this year. It's going to be affordability. We're going to continue to see a lot of pressure on the low end. When I say low end, like entry level down, 250 and under, even 300 and under is going to really continue to be extremely aggressive. And so we're already starting to see a little bit of uptick in inventory on our higher end properties already. Things over $600,000 are starting to see a little bit of an uptick in inventory. So, that's something that and we need more inventory coming in, but we can't just, here's my worry, is that interest rates go up and then we just choose to operate our business as usual, like nothing to see here. So interest rates go up.
Right.
We can't just like stick our head in the sand and say, well, they go up. We've got to prepare our buyers. It's so crucially important that we prepare our buyers, and that we're talking about payments and how much they can afford, and that we're talking with our lenders about what's going on. And really, this is how you stop from getting rolled over in the real estate industry. You can't just take news like this and the only constant we have is change. And so we've known this is coming on for a while. Make sure that you're being proactive. You should be the voice out on social media, into your database, with your friends, about what's going on and how to counter this, because we still, no matter what, have a huge deficit in housing, and we still have a lot of demand. So, the market's not dropping, it's not tanking, but we are seeing a shift going on, and we're going to, and now where that comes in, that's going to be the wild card moving forward, is, how much of an impact does this really have? Because normally, once interest rates move up, you got about a 6-month lag before the numbers actually represent that.
That's correct.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that once the interest rates up, that's gonna limit some of the buyers' buying power in reference to dollar amount.
Because kind of moving on, I know you're kind of nudge me like, get off your soapbox, Al. I'm with you, but we saw in January home sales really did surge again, and so all the numbers from January, it takes them a couple of weeks to come in, that kind of stuff.
Surge in reference to home prices.
Yeah, they were up 15%
as well as inventory, days on market. So it's minimized. The first time home buyer, 27% actually counts first time home buyer.
Yeah, our number of first time home buyers is really down in January.
Yeah.
Normally it's been running around 33%. So first time buyers are really down. Again, it's showing that all the
indication with the interest rate and the surge in price, it is wreaking a little bit havoc.
Yep. All right. At the same time, vacation sales are booming in 2022. So in January, February kind of thing, the vacation homes and second home markets are continuing to really, really rock out. Now, one other thing that is kind of an indicator, and that we can kind of use to kind of help, focus our business, is that home prices in seasonal towns are up 20%, outpacing the other. I mean, not that all real estate is not pretty good right now,
right?
But like if you look at like let's say you represent mountain properties, or that kind of stuff, lake properties, those kind of things, those are really, really on fire right now. You should really be focusing on that and trying to take advantage of that, not in a negative way, but in a positive way. At the same time, foreign investments are exceeding the.
Why is that, Alan?
What?
Why is foreign investment seeing pandemic level?
Well, because now foreign investors can actually come back into the U.S. again, and so it's bigger than it was before the pandemic right now at this point. Now, what we're seeing is a big shift into multifamily, as well as industrial. Things like office, that most of the office they've kind of moved out of, except for like medical. But those kind of things are what's really doing it. So we're seeing a lot more pressure on that. And that really leads us into the whole, because overall investors are buying up just a ton of homes. Now, where investors are buying up the most homes in the US is in Atlanta, Charlotte, North Carolina, and Jacksonville, Florida. Those are the three biggest markets. So yay us, we're number one. I'm not real crazy about that, but that goes to show the amount of demand out there. Now, why are they I mean, what I want you to think about is, why are these investors doing this? Because wealth in the United States is tied up in home ownership. And so
it always has been.
And so if they can take that home ownership away from folks and put it in their pockets and then rent to people instead, I mean, that's a solid financial model. I personally am more worried about the health of the real estate market and of average Americans. And so home ownership is way more important to me. Are they in our markets? Absolutely. We just, I don't say this because I can fix it. I say this because this is the reality of the market that we're in. And so we just kind of need to know that we're in a battle with investors on these kind of things. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I take that back. So NAR went out and they did a renters confidence survey and found that renters are feel very confident that mm-hmm. they can make their payments. At the same time, they went and they surveyed all the landlords, and they said that overall, the landlords in the next 12 months are going to be increasing rents 5 to 10% again. Now, this is on top of double-digit pricing rent increases already last year and the year before. So, rent increases follow property value increases by about a year almost. Right. And so right now, the landlords are feeling very confident, and they're going to be raising rates even more so. Again, this is why we see so many people moving into multifamily, moving into single family rentals. But this is where, the challenge is that, renting a home is not a safe haven for our buyers, because they're going to be paying a lot more in rent than they would be.
Well, what happened is that their disposable income is cut. And if you think about it, when a person's disposable income is cut, all the auxiliary services such as beauty supplies or entertainment, those going to be cut. And that's
everybody. Yeah.
I promise you, that has some type of economic rebound. Consequences.
I mean, when you're home, you can be home poor in an apartment or in a rental home the same kind of way.
Correct.
All right. Georgia migration patterns have been trending quite positively for us. Migration, did I say that wrong? Migration patterns. We're not like geese, but so in 2021, we had 54% of folks moved in state as opposed to 46
going out.
So we had almost an 8% swing, a positive swing. And so there was the chief economist for CoreLogic. He was at this show in Florida, and he was talking about where's the greatest population growth coming. And he said Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Arizona, and Georgia. So we are seeing a lot of folks moving into our state. This is another one that's really good for demand. We want to be in a state that's growing with a lot of stuff happening. It's going to help fuel growth. It's going to help fuel new construction. This is just really good for real estate overall. More people move to Georgia than move out of it. Mm-hmm. And it's getting to be an even larger number. So yes, Georgia's great.
Awesome.
All right. Now, one thing that if you are a renter, hopefully you're not, because if you're in real estate, hopefully you're, recognizing the power of home ownership. But the FCC has put out a new rule preventing landlords from forcing their tenants on a particular ISP, cable companies, things like that. In the past, we had a lot of
ISP stands for Internet Service Provider.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. But a lot of times if you go into an apartment complex, you have to use what they use. Well, guess what? There's new rule changes coming out where if you have multiple in there, they have to state any kind of secret deals going on, that kind of stuff. They can't ban other companies from coming in because they were just getting a piece of it, that kind of
transparency.
Thing. And so, again, for us, like doesn't impact a lot of homeowners, but a lot of times we have investors that may invest in properties like this, own properties like this, they need to know that these new rules have come out.
Absolutely.
All right. So if you've been watching the news, you'll see where, we had a lady in Atlanta whose home got basically their deed was stolen and they tore the house down. We had a Missouri family that had their house stolen. Quiet title laws. I mean,
Quick claim deed basically being recorded in clerks of the county without the owner's knowledge.
So we're seeing a lot of these things happen right now. And
typically, so, just a side note, typically those are homes that have zero balances.
Yeah. So, home title theft really is a real thing. We're seeing more and more of it happen out there. Now, but I don't want it to go completely crazy, because you also see like there's several companies advertising on these news agencies and that kind of stuff where they're like, your home could already be stolen. And so we don't have to go this far. The vast majority of these, is because these homes don't have a mortgage. Because if you have a mortgage on your home and someone goes in and does any kind of funny business,
guess what?
Well, the mortgage company's going to catch it, right?
Well, in order to do anything, you have to first have a clean title. So if your title has any loan or lien or deficiency on it, guess what? Nobody's going to steal it. 9 out of 10.
Yeah. So, even though this is a real thing, there are some things that you can do. One is you can keep a really small mortgage on your property, kind of thing. The vast majority of these are folks that own their home outright. A lot of times it's where they have a very common name. And sometimes it's just where the property has been abandoned, because we've seen where abandoned property, here in Georgia, if it's been abandoned for 7 years, you can try and take it through adverse possession. It's not easy to do, but these kind of things are happening out there. And largely because anytime there's a lot of demand and not enough supply, we see things like this pop up. And so this is just about protecting ourselves, protecting our clients, talking to our friends about these kind of things, because you do have to be wise about it. Our clients can go and check their title status, check their deed status. And in several counties, they can get a notice if any changes have been made. They can request that. Different counties operate differently, so I can't state that across the board. But we do want to be wise about this kind of thing and understand how this happens. It is not. We don't see a value in going out and buying this quote unquote insurance, because we just think that that's a waste of money and time. But we do want you to protect yourselves. If you have a mortgage on a home, you're really very well protected from this kind of stuff. Yeah.
Claim it. They're gonna say you can't quit claim a property to the individual that's not the original owner without the lender being notified.
Yeah. So most of these happen because people own the properties outright. All right. Our builders are having a lot of issues. So, right now they said, hey, in 2021 and then over into 2022, what are you going to get biggest concerns? Well, first one was material prices, availability of materials, cost of labor, and then inflation. And so we see all those kind of going on. And then, they also released some new numbers showing like what's happening. So this is the cost of goods, less food and energy. You can see what's happened. So this is 2018, 19, 20. And you can see what happened in 2021 and 2022. It's going crazy.
If you look at labor, it's been going crazy.
Oh yeah. And then softwood, we saw lumber prices shoot up and then drop back down. And then guess what? It shot up all over again. So we're back in the same boat on lumber. How about steel?
It's gone up and it has not really come down.
Now, and then concrete, here's concrete prices over the past, 20 years kind of thing. You can see that those are continuing. And so, we're going over everything that's used in a house. How about sheetrock? Gypsum is sheetrock. And so, all these things are true costs. So I do understand
why agent gets upset right before closing. All the materials already up and the builder won't charge additional 20% or 20,000 above the original price. And that's because all the cost is going up. And what happened too, if you think about it, if I'm selling you this property $20,000 less than what my current price is, how am I justifying for my next sale?
Yeah.
On appraisal value. So, it's not just a clear cut. And sometimes what we have done in the past, as because of low inventory and buyer really wants a house, we negotiate with the builder to come a happy medium to where it's, technically the material you did buy for this house is a lesser price. And therefore my client was a benefactor for that.
Yeah.
But we do understand that right now, there's no way you can get this replacement cost for the same thing. So just be reasonable, have a chat with the builder. Some are reasonable, some are not.
Well, and we know that we're having a lot of issues right now with pricing, and we also have quite a few builders that follow us on here, and so the North American Home Builder Association also, and builders in general know that there's price issues, that there's price
Absolutely.
concerns. For our builders, we're imploring them to build more townhomes, condos. We need those types of properties, entry level pricing properties for our,
Some of the interesting thing that I just went to the conference for last past week was talk about tiny houses.
Yeah.
And honestly, less material, less space, and the cost should be a little more reasonable. So
But,
that is an option, still having an ownership of single family.
Now, here in Georgia, what we have is the average new construction priced home in Georgia is $356,000, and basically every time that price point goes up by $1,000, it basically wipes out another 5,000 people that can afford the home.
Yeah.
So every time that $1,000, and so this is how households get priced out of based on $1,000 price increases. So the builders are aware. This is from the builders organization themselves, where they and it has it broken down by state. So here in Georgia, every time that they raise prices by another $1,000, they lose another 5,000 potential clients. Now, this is even before we move in what's happening with interest rates. So once you start putting interest rate increases on top of that, that's doubling those numbers. So, they're aware of what's going on. The builders for years have been using up the inventory of land that was pre. I mean, it's all the PVC farms we had for years, and now you'll notice everything being built is much more scaled down. Most of your new developments are scaled down because that's where we have the biggest need in housing right now, and it really is. So just kind of share that with you on what we have going on there now. We do have quite a few CE classes this week, and I think they're almost all done by you, with the exception of one kind of thing. So Tuesday and Wednesday, what are you teaching?
I'm teaching guard dissection 2020. So if for new agents and agents that have not written some contract and don't understand some of the items in there, please come see me in Noonan on Tuesday, Airport on Wednesday. And I'm also doing licensed law for agents and broker in Carrollton County, our new satellite office. Come see me. And
then also on Thursday as well, tax planning for the real estate professional is going to be in our Fayetteville office.
Great product, y'all.
Yeah, and
please come and join us.
We're always interested in knowing about
taxes. Just because there may be tricks and trade that you can do and legally write off expenses, not having to pay as much taxes. So, and also, there are items that you can do to help your local community as well. And that is Georgia Goal. Talk to them about it on Thursday.
All right. Well, thank you guys. Hope you have a wonderful week. If we can be of any service, please call, text, smoke signals. We answer it all. Have a great week, everybody.
Have a great Monday. Happy President's Day.
Bye now.
Take care.